So the Olympics are worried that the game between the USA women's team versus Germany isn't going to sell enough tickets. Now, my immediate reaction to all of this is maybe you should have had Caitlin Clark on this team. Maybe you should have had Angel Reese on this team. Maybe you should have had Aaliyah Boston on this team as well. The reason why I say this is because the NBA knows what they're doing when it comes to marketing their players globally. When you're trying to grow your league, you need to do a good job of marketing your players. And when you look at what the NBA has done, we go back to LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony. They were on the 2004 Olympic team after the rookie season. And the reason why the NBA did that was one, they need exposure internationally. Now, that year, the roster wasn't really good. It wasn't a good constructive roster. But at the end of the day, it helped build their brands. You look at the men's team this year, who's on that roster? Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, who just came off a championship run. You've got Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo. Those four guys alone are going to be key components with marketing the NBA going forward because LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry are going to retire in the next 3 to 4 years. But the problem with the WNBA is they're missing an opportunity here. So let's just say, for the sake of this argument, that Caitlin Clark doesn't sell more tickets. I think she would. There's no doubt about it. But let's just say she doesn't change the outcome. Where here's the incentive of having a Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Andrew Reese on this roster. Jersey sales, more exposure for the WNBA. So even if Caitlin Clark, Andrew Reese, and Aaliyah Boston doesn't change that outcome, you still get other incentives. But there's no doubt in my mind, if Caitlin Clark was on this team, they would be selling out more tickets. How do we know there isn't any people from the United States in Paris right now watching the Olympics, especially Caitlin Clark fans? How do we know if those same fans would have bought tickets if Caitlin Clark was actually in Paris? I guarantee they would have. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if those fans who saw the roster just say, you know what, I don't want to go to those games because I would rather watch other events because Caitlin Clark isn't on the roster. Also, think about globally. There's a lot of fans out there that love Caitlin Clark outside the United States. Let's just be honest. And if she was in Paris right now, they would be doing everything to go watch her. Now, the New York Post came out and said this a couple of days ago that the Olympics is having trouble selling the tickets without Caitlin Clark. And of course, here, the tweet by Julia McCurr. Paris 2024 is having trouble selling tickets to the U.S.-Germany women's basketball game on August 4th. Special offer tickets now available. Only €24 each, and the seats can be anywhere in the venue. Maybe front row. Would have been a sellout with Caitlin Clark on the team. I'm just saying. Caitlin Clark has had a huge impact on the WNBA. And I think just being objective here, you can't just act like that's not having any impact whatsoever. Because at this point, who has been watching the WNBA before this season? Have we been talking about Deanna Taurasi a lot? No, we haven't. Have we talked about Asia Wilson and the run she's been on the past 6 years before Caitlin Clark came into the league? No, we have not. Is there any fans out there today wearing WNBA jerseys on a regular basis? Let's just be honest. I know I'm going to get people saying, oh, well, you know, you're not watching it. You haven't invested your time. The reality is Caitlin Clark is the main reason why people are tuning in. And I think the selection committee for Team USA dropped the ball here. I'm not suggesting that Caitlin Clark needs to play 30-plus minutes a night and Chelsea Gray should only get like 9 or 10 minutes. No, I'm not suggesting that whatsoever. But what I am saying is if Caitlin Clark was on this team, there would be more stories about the USA women's basketball team. There's no doubt about it. You have to understand when you're trying to market a product, you need to constantly put it in people's face, especially when people like your product. They want to watch your product. And like I said already, once they get back into the WNBA season, you know what they're going to be competing with? The NFL, college football. Now, I'm not suggesting that they're going to lose viewers or interest, but that could take away from their games on Sunday night. That could take away from their playoff games. They got to realize when you have a good thing going and you've got a lot of momentum, you got to keep making those deposits and not stopping until you get to the point where you have the exposure you're looking for. Like I said, the NBA does a great job of marketing their star players, especially early on in their career. During the NBA playoffs, one of the main storylines was Anthony Edwards. He was talked about everywhere during the playoffs. And if you pay attention to Anthony Edwards' journey, he was on their team last summer. So Anthony Edwards is getting plenty of exposure. I'm not surprised that they're struggling to sell tickets. If you go back and watch the game between Belgium versus USA, the majority of the fans who bought those tickets were from Belgium. So that should tell you everything that's going on. Caitlin Clark sells out arenas. But again, just for the sake of this argument, even if she didn't change the outcome of those tickets, you get so many jersey sales. Like imagine a Caitlin Clark USA jersey. That thing will sell out overnight. She's selling out Wilson basketball. She sold out her All-Star jersey. Just keep marketing your stars. I even think Aaliyah Boss and Angel Reese would have sold some jerseys. Because again, what do we talk about with Caitlin Clark? We talk about the Rookie of the Year debate between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. We talk about Aaliyah Boston being her teammate and how she's been handling herself in a professional way on the Indiana Fever with all that media going on. So for the 2028 Olympics, I really hope the selection committee for USA women's basketball learns from this experience when it comes to constructing a roster and that they market their women better. Because Caitlin Clark should be on this team. Aaliyah Boston should be there. Angel Reese should be on this team. Heck, Arike should be on this team. She's cooked him in 2 All-Star games during the Olympic years. Arike can just go off at any moment and give you 10 to 15 points in a 5-minute span. So again, if you want your league to grow, market your players. Do a better job of putting them in front of our faces, because having this layoff right now, it's hurting the momentum in my opinion. Do I think it will pick back up once the season starts? Probably. But at the same time, they're missing a huge opportunity right now, in my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about how the USA women's team is struggling to sell tickets against Germany. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.